Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Gabfest. We are so excited to have you here today. Last week was such a vibe, and I am so excited that people are excited.
Yes, indeed. The feedback was awesome though on last week's one, so I'm super excited.
We had a lot of people was Lorraine.
I won't lie, I started watching it, but then I got busy again. So
Go finish watching
it.
It was such
What's
a
her name?
vibe.
I will behave today.
Yeah. It was such a vibe. So please do go and watch it. If
Yeah.
you're joining us for the first time in our series of love, marriage, divorce, please do after this show go watch our love segment. It's extremely juicy. For those who are, I don't want to use the word fans, but you are regulars. You know, every conversation goes to. Sex,
There's always a detour on our topics, and it's a juicy detour. So.
It's juicy. So, Lorraine was saying last week there's a difference between juice and tea.
Mm-hmm.
So today we'll see what she offers, juice or tea.
I'm personally excited to hear, really.
No pressure in your head, guys.
the pressure
I said, Lord, today I need to, pull myself towards myself.
No, don't. We need the showstopper. We did. It worked last week.
So thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Gabfest. This is part 2 of Love, Marriage, Divorce. And today on the panel we have Crystal Jacobs. If you are an insights lover, you will know she has appeared many times, but never in the format of this. You're always in the business section.
Yes.
So today we're giving you a bit of a break from business.
I thank you.
Welcome.
And then, obviously, I was going to first say you, but now you're making eyes. I'll first go to our co-host. I'm going to go around like this. You know our co-host, Anka. And then, Lorraine, who has by default become co-host. So, thank you for joining us yet again.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you, guys.
And then we have the beautiful Tristan. So guys, when Tristan walked in, everybody was like, I know this girl. Is she from TikTok? So she has made her mark on TikTok, guys. She's famous. She's TikTok famous.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So I did the whole briefing with the ladies here, but just to let you guys know a bit about us, Crystal is a divorcee. Yes. So she's going to come from the aspect of marriage and that aspect. I'm not going to say what full because then we know how we're going to speak about anything. Yeah. Okay. Anka is coming. If you guys are a Gabfester, you know she's the staunch one.
Don't put it that way. Like, just say conservative. Like,
okay.
Just but
yes.
let's
say that.
correct.
Okay. The conservative one. Black is black. White is white.
We don't want to be cancelled out here.
You know. Then we have Lorraine, who is single. So she's going to come from the aspect of a single person, what she thinks marriage is, and just throw in all her 10 senses based on a single perspective, right? And then we have Tristan, who is also married, with no kids. So we wanted somebody on the panel as well, because you can't have all those married people with kids and they're not a perspective of
someone without kids.
Exactly. So we are so excited, and are we going to?
For perspective, sorry if I can just jump into there. How long are you married now?
So in November I'll be married for 2 years.
Okay.
Yes.
So
it's very
super early.
It's 2 years is a while not to have kids, considering some of us had kids right in the first 4 months. So, moving along swiftly.
So we will jump into that. So based on the whole topic marriage, how I start with the what do you think love is and what not, right? So we have a lot of people on social media who don't really believe in the whole marriage thing because it's just a certificate, right? So we can live together, we can be happily together, but
cohabitate.
Yes, and all those kind of things. Why do we need marriage? It's just the paper. So what difference does it make? The love is still there. We're still living together. We're still sharing a car. We're still doing all those things. So what difference does a certificate have in our love, right? So based on that, I wanted to ask you guys, what is marriage to you before we get into the full-on topics? For you as a person, are you one of those people that it's just a piece of paper? Does it mean something to you? A, B, and C. Do you want to go, Crystal?
Okay, for me, I would have to say that firstly, yes, you would look at it and say, no, it is just a piece of paper. But then, because of a spiritual background, and because obviously grew in a church home, whatever, if you have to call it that way, I believe it is ordained by God. And for the covering, and I believe in that. I believe in the institution of marriage. I think Anka's going to kuza me lekker now.
I'm out here. Don't worry. It might be a bit silent, but I'm out here.
So when it comes to that aspect, I believe firmly in marriage, because I believe once God is in it and He ordained it, basically, it was set by Him, and then it will filter down, basically, you'll be covered. And so I do believe in the institution of marriage.
Okay. Nice.
Wow, I've said this many times before that I am an advocate for marriage, guys. Like, really, marriage is lekker. But I say this, and I say this all the time, that when you do get married to the right person. And when you do get married, make sure you love this person enough to get into the ring when the hits the fan. So, I'm a advocate for marriage out here.
As a single person, Lorraine, what's your take?
I wrote it down.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's go.
So,
You really off topic.
so I took time to think about it, right? Because I'm like, let me really think about it. Because I see that, elke dag jy staan op en dink, marriage. So, I think marriage should be a safe place, an environment to build, encourage, and grow together in all spheres of life. As the Bible says, two are better than one, right?
Yes.
So, must be. So I feel like, your husband should be there to nurse you when you fall down, and fall down not scraping your whatever, fall down in all areas. So he needs to be there. I mustn't now call my mother or my sister. I must know that this person has got my back, So,
So that's marriage to you, having each other's back.
Having each other's back, having mutual respect in this union, being in sync. Because the Bible says you are one. You mustn't now go left and I go right, and also no dear makaar. We must literally get on the same page.
Yes.
And there's much more, but
You'll bring it in eventually.
I think in the beginning, because I was someone that was so excited to get married. And obviously, I took marriage serious, but I was just so excited. I'm like, we're going to be together forever. And then I think while I was in the marriage, I realized how important it is. And how it is, I agree with you, Crystal, it's ordained by God.
Yeah.
And I see that, the longer that we are married, the more, how can I say?
The more blessings.
The more blessings, yes. And I feel like I'm a better person in my marriage. I feel like it brings out the best in people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
oh, no, you can go.
So, not negating that marriage has its troubles. I mean, even if you come from healthy backgrounds or whatever, you out of your mother's house and you got married or whatever. Not negating that every marriage comes with its issues, but those issues is what makes you a better person.
Yes.
Is because you're willing to work on it. You're willing to, if you're willing to work on it, you're willing to say, okay, fine, you know what, we can't sort this out, let's maybe go to counseling, get a mediator to see what can we do. How can I better myself? Because marriage is a selfless act.
Yeah.
It's putting whatever, me. Yes, there is still a you in this marriage, but what is it that you can not only compromise, but a little bit bend in terms of to say, okay, fine, that person is also an individual.
Yeah.
How can we fit into one another?
So from my side, I would say that in terms of going back to, is it just a certificate or whatever, I would say that for me, I do understand why your non-Christian homes or my mother is a Christian, I'm not so much into church and all those kind of things. I do understand why they think it's just a piece of paper. Because for me, I feel like the people before us or people sometimes that you look up to doesn't hold to the so-called piece of paper of marriage. Many times you hear people that say, this one's cheating, that one's cheating. They act like a happy couple, but do you know what's happening behind the scenes and all those kind of things. So in terms of bringing back people thinking that it's just a piece of paper, you kind of can't
You understand.
You understand where they're coming from because
Oh yeah.
they're spamming us.
Find your love.
Find your love.
Yeah, if you're single, yeah,
Find your
it.
love or find your light. Because it went off. Yeah, I mean, sis.
Load shedding is from the devil, no? It's not a covenant of marriage. Are we good to go? Okay, so sorry if we are live. Do I just carry on going? Okay, we carry on going. So basically, if you were there, the show just went off. Chrissy, we know. Unfortunately, load shedding happened, so the generator kicked in. But we are back, right?
Yes.
So thank you so much for staying tuned. If you did log off, tell your friends to come back. Tell your peeps we are here. But basically, we were saying you can understand why people don't think much about marriage as a union, and it's just a piece of paper. Why do I need it to make this a real deal?
Yeah.
But then I was saying it's because of sometimes your examples that is set before you. You hear how people cheat in marriage. You hear this one's fighting. You hear that this one's being abused, but she can't leave because of marriage. You hear all these stories, and you kind of put yourself in a box where you're like, if I don't do the marriage thing, it's easier to leave
Yes.
when things
No,
get
but
difficult.
Can I just
yes,
there
jump in.
Like for me, obviously, you know, guys, I'm divorced, right? So it's now a case of because I am dating, but I have a boyfriend. Let me say dating. I have one boyfriend. So now it's a case of, would you get married again?
Yeah.
So now the question is, do you want to get married again, Crystal? And obviously a lot of people will say, no, you have to, it's the right thing to do, and blah, blah, blah. But now I'm thinking, I did it. Do you understand? I did it the right way.
Yeah.
I kept myself in marriage. I get alles gedoen. And then you in the marriage, and then yes, life happens, bam, no marriage anymore. Now, okay, are you going to do it again? Okay, I don't have the answer yet, guys.
I was waiting for the answer.
I was just sitting in suspense.
We're like, is she doing it? Is she doing it?
Drum roll.
Okay, but then also another thing is maybe the reason why things goes wrong maybe later on in future is the reason why you got married in the first place. Was it the right reason? Was it the reason of there was pressure? Or was it the reason because you really wanted to get married? But both of you were on the same page. Were you getting married because you have children, because of the pressures of the church? Het jy getrou want jy brand van begeerte?
It is. I hear what you say.
You know, because the foundation needs to be the right foundation
Yeah.
for you to build on, because marriages must work.
It's lots
it
of
never
work.
stops. So what
Don't
is-
stop.
Yeah, and from maybe the guys also, did you get married to me because I look like a helper, like Sisi? Am I supposed to be cooking and, you know, all the things that we spoke about? So what is the purpose for you as a person? Why did you get married? So
What you also mustn't negate what happens in a marriage. Remember, by the time you're 9, 10 years into a marriage, it's not the same person you met when you actually got married. Things have
Yes.
transpired. Children have come, water's under the bridge, finances comes and plays a role. So what you get is that there's a lot of small things chipping away at your marriage. And now you're sitting in a situation where you're not really communicating properly. So now you're just upset. The other one is upset because you don't see me. This one is like, but you're the guy, hustle, do what you need to do
Yeah.
to make this, to put the bread on the table. Now there's tension. Now you're miscommunicating. Now it's like, Mara, you know, actually I don't. So if that happens long enough, this person feels both parties start feeling rejected long enough to the point you're like, actually I don't love this guy. And that's where a lot of the times the break comes in.
So why is finance such a big issue
You?
though in marriage?
I also
Like,
always wondered.
I want the reason why I'm asking them is because I was not married yet. So I'm expecting people to be open about everything. So if we have an account, because I feel like we must have one account
Okay.
where
For
both of
full
our
transparency.
monies come
Okay.
in, And I must still have my separate account because ek moet nog mos geld.
Jou spend.
Yeah.
En hy moet nog sy spending kry.
So,
So
yeah.
what he
Before
does
you
with his
get
spending is
into
fine.
the marriage side, when it comes to finances, it starts before your marriage. Because if you have R1,000,000 debt and I don't have anything on my name, that needs to be sorted out before the marriage already happens. Because remember, once we get married, that's now my debt.
Yeah.
But then it
Am I
depends on
agreeing?
what are you marrying,
Yes.
community or out of.
Or antenuptial.
Or-
In
Doesn't
today's
it
life,
matter?
we got married in community of property. It's rarely seen today. A lot of people do sign prenups before the time, but so that may be curbed to a certain extent if I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm signing a prenup. But especially like in a situation like mine, did you also get in community of property? A situation like ours is a matter of that automatically becomes his debt or his debt.
But not only that aspect of becoming your debt,
Yeah.
in terms of, let's remember now, I'm going to just use simple numbers so that it's not too complicated. Let's say you get a 10 Rand and I get a 10 Rand every month, but your debt needs 9 Rand
You can only
to fill
contribute
that
one.
9 Rand. So when we come into marriage, I have my whole 10 Rand and now you have a 1 Rand. So what happens in your household? You're now working on a 11 Rand and that whole 9 Rand is going to, before we got married, you paying this, you paying
you
that,
incurred,
you
not
paying
us.
that. And now who's suffering for it? Because now we're trying to get more jobs. We're trying to do all these things. And that when what Anka was speaking about just now with the communication.
Yeah.
So now communication is lost because we're trying to make more money to keep up with the debt and lifestyle and petrol. Because think about petrol. If you have 2 cars, petrol price goes up. If you live in the south and work in Midrand, you need to think about all those things that comes with it. So finance being your day-to-day living. You can't say no finance, I can still go on with life.
When the older people used to say, when poverty comes in the front door, love walks out the back door. And it's very true because what happens is that you become so you become upset. There's so much tension.
Yeah.
Your husband's like, the pressure is real and you still want attention and you still want this and you feel like, you don't love me because why can't I have this, that and the other? So a lot of the times innately, and I know that we do get mature women, but there are women out there that do say, yes, my husband must provide this, my husband must do that. And you are the man, why aren't you? Yes, I'm doing my hustle, but why aren't you doing this? And that causes tension. Now you fight.
Yeah.
A lot.
And now this husband is, because his innate need is to want to provide,
Yeah.
he feels like a failure because indirectly that's what you're saying to him.
So is it
Now-
better
Yeah.
to maybe sort out your debt?
Yeah.
Before you get
we
married.
had debt. I had debt.
Sort out your debt before you make
Did your
debt
husband
my
know
debt.
about your debt
He did,
before?
and he told me straight, I'm
She had
not
to
marrying you.
cancel everything.
I had to make sure I had no debt coming into this marriage. So the day we signed those papers, I had no debt.
It's
But
better.
then, like, how do you navigate it? Like, let's say if you get married or you're about to get married to someone that didn't disclose their financial situation.
That's a
See,
major
so
challenge.
that's
How
a
do you
big
navigate
problem
that
because
after
that already
marriage?
takes your trust
Trust away.
away.
Yes.
And
That's a big
trust in
trust.
marriage is a big thing. So remember, there's trust of cheating, there's trust of you lied about a small thing, you said you went to the shop but you were actually at a friend's house. All these small things add to trust basics.
Yeah.
And in terms of finance, that also plays in terms of trust. So the minute you lie coming into something, it's the same like someone would say, I don't have a child, and you already married and you find out this guy had the child and he was scared to
Yeah.
tell you because he wanted things to move along.
Yeah.
It's the same like somebody's been married before and they come into a new marriage not telling you, oh, I have been married before. The same like someone telling you, I'm a virgin, and then you get married and you find out they're not.
There's no
There's a
blood.
history.
It's all
Oh, blood. Where's the blood?
all small things
Thank you, Lorraine.
Yeah.
that eat on trust. And that's a very big thing in terms of how you feel. Going on to
Yeah.
what Anka said just now as well, in terms of you coming in and I feel like you can't provide. It also has another aspect in terms of when I see my peers living a life. And why can't we live that
Yes.
life? So that also adds on, comes from financial side. If we financially can't eat McDonald's every Friday, but everybody on your Instagram is eating Spur every single day, it plays on the household
Yeah.
in terms of what's going on
Yeah.
with us. Why can't we live like that?
But isn't that like playing it a bit dangerous on the comparison? Like
It
comparing?
is playing
shouldn't be
dangerous,
doing it
but you are an emotional being.
That's what I
You
was
can't
gonna
take
say.
away.
You can't help. You can't take that feeling away. Because I know I have that. Like, for example, like my husband works 6 days out of the week. So like on Saturdays we can't go out and like he comes home at night, and then I'm like on social media,
And you see all
Saturdays
these couples
I'm
doing
seeing
things.
and I'm like, oh. And it's like you see your Saturdays are flying by, and you're like,
I'm with you on that.
I feel that one. I feel
you
that
guys-
one. Yo.
I think I don't know, I'd pop a hernia because I'm extremely clingy. Like, even the other day we were talking and Xavier was like, you can't do something by yourself. I'm like, no, you, there you go, I go. Like, oh, you're tired of me. I'm tired of me too, I'm going with you.
But now, on that topic of
Yeah.
your husband working 6 days, or let's not make it about your husband, just in general.
Yeah.
When you know something specific before you get married, don't make it an issue now when you're married.
Yes, that's
because
wrong,
that's
yeah.
unfair.
Yeah.
We just spoke now about did this person let you know before you got married?
But also, can I stop you on that? There is also compromising.
No, but not
So,
work.
no, but listen here. If you, we all just said now what marriage is. A lot of things was be there for me, be my back, be all of those things. If you were working so many days and we have a agreement before marriage, but then that has to come with communication as well.
Yeah.
But there needs to be I want a marriage, because remember, once you're in love, then the compromising
Yeah.
comes after that. You don't first compromise and then fall in love, because you compromise because I am in love with you. So I feel like in terms of when it comes to I married you like this,
Yeah.
to a certain extent, yes, you did come with those things, but don't bash me for this. But I feel like you can say that if I married you knowing you on drugs, and then this is who I married. I married you knowing that you smoke, and now the day of the wedding you say no more smoking.
Yeah.
Those kind
Yeah.
of things. But when it comes to family lifestyle, we have to come to an agreement and say, is there a chance that, okay, work the 6 days, but can you work until 5 instead of 7?
Yeah.
But it depends. Is it his business? If it's your business, you can change. But if you're working for a boss, you can't tell the boss now, married now, can't
Depending
work.
what your hours is.
Yeah. So for me, in that sense, I think there is variables there. Are you going to say, what are your situation? This is our income, these are our expenses, and this is the job I'm with now. Okay, so I work 6 days a week. That's it. We have to work our life around that and fit in our family time. Okay, so, but I'm not really happy. Leave your job. Okay, so what is it going forward? What I'm saying, there's communication taking place. So if you're communicating about it, okay, fine, you know what, let me try this business venture, but are you willing to stick through when there's
Which
no
is
money?
communication
Yeah.
before it happens.
Before it
Yes.
happens.
But you know, ladies, communication is very, very, very important. And being transparent. You have to, you know, us as women, you know how we are, guys. We like to keep things inside. Don't do that. Speak. We emotional. Laat het maar uitkom. Huil, whatever, do what you have to, but we have to talk. If certain things is bothering you, like even with the finances and stuff, and it can be a deal breaker, guys. Money. Ooh,
It can be a deal
It
breaker.
can break.
So, but
And
when you
even-
talk, because someone's like say talk,
Yes.
Yes.
are you willing to also receive?
Yes.
You can't just
Yes.
be talking. It
Yeah.
needs to be
Yeah.
a dialogue.
Yeah.
Yes.
A dialogue to
It
understand,
takes
but
two
not
to
to
tango.
defend.
Yes,
Right?
it takes.
But that's what
Go watch the show 3 weeks ago. We go into
But
lots
have-
of detail.
But they said you must know how to talk and obviously how you must get your guy
There's
on the
lots of
same
elements,
space.
yeah.
You must
then
know. You must know. You can't also just go and say, listen, you sit down, ons moet nou praat. And no, you just go for it. There must be tactics also. Or
I'm
some
that
way.
person that
You
goes for it. I
must
give
know
him no
it.
chance. I speak for 2
see
hours and he's like, yeah.
what that
That's
does
the
is
problem.
what that does is it shoves him into a shell.
Yes.
Now there's no
You
communication.
can't.
It's one way.
Yes.
And I say this from my cheeky self. We had this conversation. Last night because 8 years into our marriage, our communication is better. But it took us 8 years to get here because me, I will ramble and you will hear my point and I will make it as loud as I can.
Yeah.
But no one's hearing anything. It's only you letting it go.
Yeah.
So now you're not hearing his side of the story. And yes, the reality of the matter, there is two sides to the story. So his innate need to want to provide and my innate need to want to receive is clashing now, because he's not able to do exactly what I've envisioned growing up, the movies I've watched, this fairy tale. So he's not really able to do that. But now you have to go back to your why, your favorite name. You have to go back to your why.
But sorry, going on, there's another side as well. Remember, not all women are cheeky.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not all women is bashing,
Also,
bashing,
yes.
bashing, bashing, and not getting a thing. There's the other way around. I know from experience. I'm trying to 7 years into marriage, trying to change things now, and it's difficult. Where you just say, yes, there is work this weekend, accept it. But we had plans.
Yes.
Now, all of a sudden, this people phone is work more important than our marriage, is work more important than our relationship. There is also the side where, as a woman, you must also be able to put your boundaries and say, enough is enough because A, B, and C. But then what happens is when you start doing that, men don't take it as well either. The same way women talk, men will throw in your face, but the money, but
Yes.
the this, but the that, but the, which is also a wrong side, because it's easy to just say from one side of a relationship, but there is the meek side of woman as well, where every woman is not verbal about everything. Like with me, I'm extremely verbal with anybody, but when it comes in my marriage, I just accept,
Yeah.
which is also not the best trait
Yeah.
to have, because there's no boundaries
Boundary,
and there's no that fine line of communication, the same way we expect if I say a man must also speak back and all those kind of things. There are also women that struggle with the you just say yes, 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 because it's the man bringing the money home.
Yeah.
But I think it's also very important, as you know, the two, you know, the man and the wife and husband, always to have their sit downs and talk to find out if you're on the same page. Speak to one another and say what is bothering you. It shouldn't come also a point where certain things is happening and now we go, obviously the woman maybe goes here, dear, and whatever. But it should just be those odd occasions where you guys sit down and just talk.
That's why dates are so important in marriage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. Here where you at, where I'm at, and then, I mean, so we can progress.
But then
Yeah.
also to go on a date and you bring up finances, my whole date is spoiled. I
Uh-huh.
want to go
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Then I want to go home. Okay, where's the kids? Let's go.
See, and that's one of the things. There's a lot of times when me and Xavier speak, and then I'll be like, I don't want to hear about money now. Can we just speak about other things? I don't want to hear about money. I know this mountain is in front of us. I don't want to hear it. But there comes a time when you must face that mountain. And like for us personally, and I've said this multiple times, go for counseling, guys. Get a mediator.
Yeah.
Get someone who can relate. Because the reality of the matter, men and women speak two different languages. And that is just a fact. It's not going to change. And many a times when we have these heated discussions, then I'll say things to him that I want him to hear, but the man is just not hearing what I'm trying to tell him. Now we go sit in counseling. I repeat exactly what I've been saying. And then our counselor would then
Repeat it.
That
You
man just
understand.
understands every word.
Also,
Yeah, go ahead.
based on just adding to the communication, what I've always seen is that you want somebody to react now. But you
Yes.
forget that you had time to think about the things that you're going to say.
Planned it.
So please allow the person to also take the information
Yes.
in, go and think
Process it,
about it,
yeah.
process it, and allow them to come back to you when they're ready to come back
Yeah.
to you.
Oh, no.
We that silence, ne? It
Yeah,
hurts me.
and the silence
I-
doesn't mean
I
it
hate
but they actually do listen.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
really
the
do.
silence irks me because that is
I
No,
I
it's
follow
not.
you. I'm walking. If he's like, okay, we're done now. I'm like, where you going? I'm like, this conversation. You didn't answer my question. No, you in it.
So I just wanted to ask, how well does that work for you though?
Yeah.
Like what's
not
the
working.
result?
It doesn't work.
Okay.
So like one thing that we always like, what we're trying to navigate now is like dates. That's something that we struggle, especially because he's working so much. So we went out like 2 weeks ago. And here I am just complaining. And he's like, can you see, we finally doing what we've been arguing or talking about.
But you're bringing
And
up
then you're
old
bringing
stuff.
up old stuff. And then we ended up like not even we just like took our food and left. And I'm like, oh my word, like this is something that I've been wanting us to do, and then I do
And you
it.
ruined
I
this.
spoiled it. Yeah.
So I wanted to bring in a different side because I think we spoke about finances and that enough. And I think there's more than enough podcasts out there that speak about the actual relationship. So I want to go into nitty-gritty things that people aren't really proud to speak about, but it is something that goes through our minds, right?
Sex.
Yeah, we go.
Obviously, you'll go to sex, right?
So, okay.
But it can, this topic can somewhat lead to sex because I'm going to ask you about, as a woman, the shaving. So, shaving, the cleaning everywhere.
Grooming
because
yourself.
the grooming yourself. Because remember now, you are married. I've heard people say, oh, nee, ek het 'n man by die huis. Why must I
comfortable.
marry?
Why?
You get into a
They
comfortable
lose.
situation,
Yeah.
you lose it. Now you're not caring if the underarms, the legs, the JJ.
You must have coverage with that cold.
That's my excuse.
So all those kind of things from a married woman's perspective. We are five sitting here. You can even come in from a single perspective. What you think you're going to do, because once you're in it, it's not really there. But what you think you're going to do.
There's hopes
what
and dreams.
is it in terms of how important is it to stay as on the ball as you were with your wedding night? Because remember wedding night, you were waxing, you made
it was
sure you
fine.
cleaned,
You
you
were
made sure
shining.
Perfume gehad.
you were shining, you had the outfit to
JJ.
unpeel, you had everything. So why is it when you hear women speak, they use the term very vaguely? Now I must have a man at home, I don't have to worry about that. And what's your thoughts on that mindset? Do you think men think about it? Do you think it's a issue of I am letting myself go, or what's your thoughts?
From a single person, obviously, I shave and I'm single, so don't do it for a man or for any other person.
For
do it for
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah.
So look at yourself and say, do I look right
Yes.
for myself?
Yeah.
You know? Like when I look in the mirror, and we like these tops that Anka and you are wearing.
But what if I like a little bit of a...
Yes,
Because
it's
that's
my
a in
Anka,
thing
my
now,
Anka.
Yeah, it is an in thing.
The in thing is to have long hair. People on
Yes.
TikTok is brushing
Yes.
it out.
Remember,
Remember,
Yeah.
Tristan, are you doing that?
No.
Oh no, you can miss me with that one.
because even the TikTok trend also is the dying down there. Because now it's long enough that you.
That is just a warning for infection. But from a medical sense, that went from 0 to 100 real quick. Anyway, from a medical sense, there's a reason why we have hair here and hair there. It has a purpose.
And the purpose
Is to
Purposeless.
capture the bacteria.
and keep it there.
Do not go inside. It has a purpose, guys. This is why there's hair there. It's not just there for enjoy.
As Leela
It is a trend. It has become a trend, which is why, as you say, like reg. That's why I was laughing.
Okay, no.
It's a trend.
Now that trend of people eat grass. No one also no grass.
No.
It doesn't mean something
No,
is a
that's
trend.
not
That's
natural.
reg.
My point. That's
Yes,
exactly
sis,
my
man.
point. You don't have to shave because it's there for a reason.
Yeah,
Exactly my point. I'm not saying that I don't shave. I do shave. Before you guys get there, I do like to be clean because it just feels better.
It
Obviously,
feels better.
And it looks
but it's
nice.
something that we got ourselves used to. But it actually has a purpose, guys. High shame. Go read it up.
But then again, yes, you can't. If some likes it that way, they like
Like,
it.
let
It's
it.
not- I'm just saying for others.
You're saying
I'm
for
saying others.
And
It's
it's
a
a bush.
bush.
And it's a bush.
Yeah, assessment, the vision.
As die mense wil dit dye, laat hulle dit dye. Mense hulle cornrows los hulle.
No, I believe it must be.
I mean, if you want your blue Brazilian cut,
Everybody's not the same.
Brazilian
Why do you
bikini,
feel
it's
like
you.
it must be clean and cut?
Is it personal?
For JJ looks on point.
No, but I think it's because I'm early in my marriage still.
So
I'm
you
trying-
say you're gonna leave it to
No. I'm saying I'm trying to keep it squeaky clean. Like now that I'm going to my second, I'm like,
You're right.
winter.
Let me
effort.
tell you. Let me
effort.
tell you. Being 8 years into marriage, you become very comfortable with one another. And there's just certain things, you know what, baby, it just didn't happen today. So
That's why you must have single friends to keep you on your toes.
I believe that. I believe
I
that.
do feel that shaving is the same extent of self-love, care.
it's
Yes.
for your
those
personal,
things.
yeah.
Personal cleaning and everything. And for me, I don't know, but from my experience, it just doesn't smell the same if there's hair. It's
You
all
just
of those
feel
things.
dirty.
You just
Yeah,
feel.
but
Give them basic condition.
For self.
And this is gonna sound a bit, but
We
I
are no
want
strangers.
natural lubes. Dan kan nog nie jou bush
Okay, Danny, maar wie ook kies en hoe lyk dit nie? Hoe lyk jou chomara? Because as you know, hare het en alle, you really don't know what's happening down there. Hi, guys.
Dan skeer jou hare af op jou kop.
But you do feel
my
good,
man.
man.
You do.
Heel af,
You
heel
really
af.
do.
Heel af.
I did it once.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is that something
it's
we
not
do?
the same, man.
Why must you?
It's not the same, uncle.
Undignify
Can't compare
her.
such a thing.
So you guys will say that you feel like, okay, it is.
No, because you feel good when you
I think
look. Yes,
you feel good, but also I do think that your
It's just
husband,
clean.
your husband does want it.
Yeah.
I
think
feel it makes a big difference in your sex life.
he does.
Was dit ook?
No, but some does like it.
As hy ook kan sing en as hy ook happy.
Yeah, but
No, I mean in terms of like remember if your legs is smooth or your underarms is clean and you lay in
Yo,
a
you
certain
someone wanna
way
put your
and
legs on
do you
your
know
husband?
the way it feels,
Touch
everything
my
just
arm,
feels
it's
it
lekker.
feels
It's
more
lekker.
feels proper.
Silky.
intriguing
Yeah.
kind of a thing. So all those kind of things. So not now. I don't want the topic to change as yet. So that's why I haven't been going there. So I feel like okay, there is that. Then it is a lot trending at the moment now, and I wanted to. It's a bit more of a serious topic. I wanted to ask you guys, what's your take on it, right? So there is these highlights of rape and everything, right? Then it's been come to the attention that there is such a thing as rape in marriage, where the partner doesn't want to and is kind of forcing themselves to, and the woman just ends up giving in and say, get over it, get over with it and move on. What do you feel as women? Because I know there's some women that says their drive isn't as much as men, and then there's also a lot of podcasts and research that by the more a woman gets, the more she wants, and it's if she's not getting it right or enough or something like that, she will distance herself or something like that, and that plays a role to it. But I wanted to ask from the side of, if a partner doesn't want to, what's your take on, because remember you in marriage, and remember when we spoke our one show about masturbation, and we used the one verse in the Bible that said, if your partner doesn't want to go pray about it and come back, those kind of things. So there is an aspect of, if I don't lust tonight, what do you think is a woman's responsibility in marriage to please her husband?
Publicly, the Bible says you mustn't say no, you can't
Yeah.
deny. Publicly, you must just give. But there's always two sides to the story, and I do think that you can be raped in marriage, like especially if you don't want to. But you must question then, why is it that you don't want? So for us as women, we emotional beings, so we want to be caressed into it. So he's just ready to walk through the door
Yeah.
and he's ready. And now I'm not less. So once again, it's a communication issue. So are you communicating to me that this morning, that tonight I want this to happen? The husband must communicate, because you're preparing. Women need to be prepared a while in advance. You must caress her, you must romance her, you must. Not everyone, you do get women whose sex drive is just up there and is also just ready to go. Not everyone is like that. For me, I'm not like that. So my husband knows he must first go wash the dishes. And I know tonight is being prepared.
Get me in
So
the
one
mood.
token, yeah. You know, I like it when you talk dirty, when he picks up the clothes, you know. Those type of things. So understand each other's language to know that, okay, fine, if I do certain things, I know this will trigger something in my wife. And okay, why is it that because there's a lot of times when the husband doesn't want also and the woman is ready. Why isn't he ready? Is there stress on his mind? What can you do to
And with them
alleviate
it's
it?
more difficult, because for
Yes.
women we can just lay like a chicken and you still get
Nando's
pleased.
chicken.
Yeah.
As a man,
Nando's.
for us, it's if that don't go up, it don't go up. Then you must sit with your feeling.
Yeah, and that is a true aspect. And then we feel rejected.
Yeah.
The same thing happens with men. Men
They feel rejected, but we feel we're the only ones that can feel rejected.
It's very true. And that whole chicken thing, I don't think it works because I'll say, it feels like I am raping you now. And, my husband has said that to me. He's like, this is not what this is about. This is supposed to be something that we both want to do. So, daar los net alles. Because I don't want to feel like I'm raping you. So, it's a communication aspect, baby. Why are you not feeling like you list tonight? Why must I beg every second week?
But also, why do you want to have an argument and go to songs and say all we do is make up and break up? Because
that's unhealthy.
And make up and I'm still trying to sort out. I'm still chasing you down the alley. Let's just say, okay, we sorted out and immediately now I needed to process what just happened.
And on that, do you guys think that some woman that says no are actually using sex as a negotiating tool?
Yeah.
It's a manipulative tool.
And it's wrong.
Very
Yes,
wrong.
it is
in
wrong.
marriage.
Julle van verstaan nie, ek wil getroud as gister al, want ek elke dag. Okay, but it's true, and hulle sal sê ek is single, ek sê so until I get married. Trust you me, I'm not gonna change. So, yes, I understand shame.
Sorry, based on that now, I was that person.
And I will be that
And
person.
I try to go back to my feelings of before marriage again because, I waited until marriage and every time I say, I'm keeping myself because when I'm married, sure, this and sure that and sure this and that. I went for pole dancing lessons. I went for lap dancing lessons. I did the whole to do what I'm going to put a pole in my room and everything. But once you come into marriage, I'm not going to lie, it was lacquer in the beginning in terms of having that freedom. But the minute kids came to play, this girl was tired 24/7.
I remember the clock and the ready.
But I'm just saying, coming from my, in terms of, that's why I said, I don't know whoever else's situation, but I kept myself until marriage. And let's not forget, keeping yourself till marriage, that wedding night is a nightmare because you can't back them to do it.
Yeah, but it's not a beautiful experience. The movies lie to us.
The movies, I
deep
think we're gonna go
flowering
lie. I thought I'm gonna go lie on the beach
I want
and
you
just
to give us a snippet. Like, not, what is it like now you enter the room, whatever?
To be honest, my wedding day,
tell us.
I didn't
Say
want my wedding day to end. Like the last friend that was there,
Same
I kept keep the music on. No DJ, don't go home. I was so scared to go to the room but then also my intention was still like, my views was still like a movie. In movies, when a girl does it, it's like a same time. It's all of that thing. And then you're also thinking about, somebody told me you're going to hear pop. And somebody told you, there's so many things.
The pop one I didn't hear yet.
All of when it was breaks, apparently there's a skin there and something like that.
For me, they told me it's going to be sore. For me, they told me it's going to be sore.
Nobody told me it's going to be sore.
They told me it's going to be sore. So when I had to shower first, ek blow mas lang.
So nobody told me it's going to be sore. So
They told me.
I'm not gonna lie, I cried for like a week. And it's an experience that, I wish that as colored girls who are keeping themselves for marriage, that there is more education for them. When I say like anybody of color, because the parents are not. You see, when you get married, the old school generation of people of color, it's not like your white moms that put you on the pole at 16 the minute you get a boyfriend and all of those things. So there is still, if you in the Christian, there's a stigma. Your parents don't speak to you about that night. You go in there eyes closed based on what you know from movies, based on if you have a naughty friend that tells you, my friend, do this, do that. I will never forget, Nikki gave me a gift for our wedding night.
What
and
was
said,
the gift?
Lube. And she said to me, don't put this with all your other gifts, take it to the room. And I opened it in the room and I was like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
Because I was like this. I grew up very late. And then keeping myself for marriage, those kind of things. I feel like as much as even if you do keep yourself for marriage, there must be some form of education or expectation.
But okay, wag nee, ek wil eens moet die klam.
But look, even
so
with
what
me-
what did you want to hear about whatever. What's
No,
gonna happen
but
then.
see, my mother,
Like,
she took me through it. So
What did your
the,
mother
the
say?
last week, I'll tell you, the last week, it was a very close subject growing up. I did speak. My mother was my best friend. So then the last week before I left, my mother took me for lingerie shopping. She's like, "Je moet mooi like die aan." So she bought all my lingerie for me, and then she explained to me, "My kind, it's not going to be what the movies tell you. It's going to be so. However, you need to talk to each other because he's not going to be happy with you." So
Like, talk while you're busy.
huh?
Talk while you're busy.
Tell him that you're scared. I was very conscious when things were going down. And he was very disappointed because he was reading some book and he was listening to some seminar that you must consummate the night of. And I'm like, my guy, I'm tired. Plus, I did the exact same thing. I clung to that dance floor till the last inkling and he was ready to go. I mean, he waited so long.
Guys, I even drank a glass of wine thinking it's gonna ease me up. That wine did nothing for me. This girl was so sober. And
the doctor prescribed a relaxer for me, like a nerve relaxer, just so that I could relax. But nothing can. And the girl who did my makeup, she was much younger than I was, and she kept on. It's going to be sore. She drove it into my head like that. But
that's now next level fear.
you get what I'm saying? But nothing prepares you for it, and you're like, marawai.
Just what do you say? How was your experience? If you're not willing to share or whatever, it's up to you how far you want to go in that. But even if you just jump back to the original topic of the whole, if you don't want to as a wife in terms of sex or, or a general thing, what you feel, how it should be done.
Well, I do agree because, especially now, I'm getting lazy. I'm not gonna lie. We all know how girls get lazy, and my husband's like, he's ready. And I also use it as a tool. I was to negotiate, to keep him there. And I realized as a wife, I'm like, no, I can't do this. I'm also but my thing is why? I'm still questioning myself, why am I lacking at this point? You know what I mean?
Are you on a contraceptive?
Why? I'm not.
Because apparently a contraceptive, and that's why I went off it. And when Dr. Mary was on Dash show, that was my questions 24/7. I literally kept asking, if you're on a contraceptive, does it take the feeling away? And
but
somebody...
what does take that feeling away? Because I'm doing it, I'm trying to be the girl I was in the beginning. Do you know what I mean? I go for pole classes, and I'm just like...
Do you still find your man attractive?
I love...
So, because
love
just looking at your guy should kind of also contribute to...
Yeah, and what are you thinking?
I think in my mind, I have this that we have forever. Do you know what I mean? And I spoke
so
to
if we don't do it today, it can be tomorrow.
Yeah,
If it's not tomorrow, it'll be next week.
If it's not today, there's forever. That's what I tell myself.
I'm watching the show Marriage Huntsville. It was there. So the husband was asking the woman, do you not eat every day? So he's saying for him sex is food. And he needs to eat
for some
every
men
day.
For some men it is.
It
And he must stay by your restaurant, otherwise it's just
Exactly.
No takeaways, no fast foods, he must stay by
Imagine
your
you gaan
restaurant.
naar een restaurant, het nieuw favorite kost. I hear you man care every day.
Yeah, but I'm getting into it because when I had a conversation with my sister, because she's also married, you know Alyssa, and she was like, listen, this is the peak time to be busy. You guys don't have kids.
Yes.
She's like,
No, really.
She's like, you don't have to
We miss the
schedule it."
bathroom days, you miss the couch days, you miss all those days because now you must consider if
Your
someone wakes up in the
adventurous
middle of the night,
Yes.
all those kind of things.
Jaag mekaar kaal rond terwyl
I
jy
think we
kan.
must do that.
Yeah. And also, you don't just have sex in the bedroom. Asseblief.
Yes.
Nie vrijdag, or do people honestly think that
When you
sex
have
is just
small
meant for
kids, when you have small kids, my dear, you
I
keep
think
it to
it's a-
confined
Don't
spaces.
So
my fear
so
of my
this
kids walking
happened,
in
and
is
so this
intense.
happened, and
It's intense,
so
no.
me and Ashley was like, we long last, because now we must always wait until the kids go sleep and whatnot. We like, come, let's say we're going to go shower or something. We lock ourselves in the bathroom anyway. Happens now. Ashley already showered. Now I'm about to get in. I wasn't even going to shower at that point. Open the door. Scarlett says, "Why are you both naked?" I'm like, "No, Mommy's about to shower. Put on the thing, babe. Let's."
Or still sala almost too. How?
But you feel like you have to schedule time once you have kids.
Once you have kids, it is a bit more difficult, but you don't have to schedule time. Go put the TV on.
Yeah, but it's also a matter of what is your relationship with like your family members and you leave your children
Yes.
there.
Okay.
There's stuff like that. If you're not able to, you'll find ways to work around it. And I have a question. I really, really have a question. And if someone can answer this for me, I'll be very excited, guys. So I cannot do anything if my kids are awake or they are around or in the vicinity. So our kids don't sleep in our bed. They've never slept in. They've always slept in their own rooms. But I'm aware of people where the kids have slept in the rooms, but they find the time. Like they still fall pregnant during this time. Explain to me, how does this work?
What is your question?
When the kids are in the bed, when the kids are in the bed and you find the time during that time when they're in the bed.
It's easy. You wait until they're in a deep sleep. You're quiet, and you don't move a lot.
How do you not move?
The guys, there is ways
Spooning.
around.
I'm sure you
Makes you
find
not
ways.
move a lot, so you spoon
But
or
that's
snap.
not exciting for a woman, is it? It's not exciting. Spooning is not exciting.
Yeah, man, you spoon and you have your
exciting.
sex from the
Spooning.
back.
I also like
Yeah.
It's the graphics for
And now it's having
But you must make
can't
it
see.
love.
You
You
must-
have
The
to.
thing is, like, if you're going to keep
You have-
listening, and also if the kids is in the bed, then stand up and go
Yeah,
on the
you
floor.
have to.
Stand and do it. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, you're in a
Edmund.
deep sleep.
But that's
the
an
light
opportunity
off.
to go to the kitchen and do it there.
Yes, you have to make it
Edmund.
exciting.
Yeah.
You must make it exciting all the time.
Like
so
my
now they're
brain,
sleeping.
it's just-
Let's do the.
Like my brain is my kids is just gonna walk downstairs.
Have sex outside.
Go in the car.
In the bath.
The adventure's too adventurous for me.
So then here's another question I wanted to ask now. So there is a few people that DM'd me, and this is a question they wanted us to bring a forth to light. So they wanted to know from the Gabfest ladies, what happens when you are married, but you're in a, let's say your husband or your wife is maybe going to go work in a different country or different city, state for like maybe a week or a month, or it's a long distance for a bit. They're now not living on the other side of the world, but there is that break where I have to go away for work.
Yeah.
They want to know what is, if Anka can also maybe bring the biblical side to, if there is one, or we must go watch our contraceptive, our masturbation episode again. And then they want to know, how do you then keep it alive? Because we sometimes say masturbation is wrong and whatnot in a Christian perspective, but they want to know, if your husband is not here, the phone sex, all of those things. My husband can't now get a girlfriend on the job. So they didn't ask like straight out. I'm just trying to
Put me to it.
put, yeah. So if my husband is...
How do you please yourself when your husband's not around?
And not only please you, how do you do it together? They want to know, is it okay to then we on the phone, you know, movies show us a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say touch yourself here, touch yourself. As a married person, please give your 10 cents. What is your thoughts on it for our viewers?
For me, masturbation is an absolute no, because there's just so many implications and negative implications that come. So when your husband does come back, now you're going to struggle to be intimate with one another. So now you're going to end up just speaking to one another and use your toys. So there's just too much gray area there. For me personally, I mean, sexting is a thing. Like, why not? I mean, I'm about to leave for a week. And I'm going to miss my husband. I really am, because he's my companion, he's my friend. We literally do everything together. I'm even nervous to go. I'm going to my place where I grew up, to my family where I grew up, but I'm nervous to leave without my husband. So how am I going to navigate? And I'm going to miss my husband, yes. So yes, text each other, call each other, speak to each other about these things, yes. However, I don't agree with the whole touching thing, because it's going to be long-term implications for when he comes back. And also remember, it varies from person to person. For me, it's just stay away. I just don't think about it, keep myself busy. But then again, I'm only going for a week. It's not a month. It's not
But
2
then
months.
you get guys. I mean, like, let's say you're
I was about to say, didn't you just
Maybe
tell us
6
it's
months.
food?
It's food.
Exactly,
Yes.
but
Where's
what
he getting the food?
6 months.
Doesn't he fast? Hoe maak jy as jy moet fast?
Maar wat is het nog
21 day fast mode.
If it's 6 months now.
I asked that on the last show. I asked if you fast that thingy, and I actually asked my mother about it. I'm actually going to find out the real answer
If you
for
fast,
that.
if you're allowed to. like fasting, biblical fasting, are you allowed to have sex during fasting?
No, wait, let's first finish the topic because we keep changing after. I keep giving a question and then when someone speaks, the topic goes away.
No, but like I was saying, you're saying just a month, you just took on a week.
Yeah.
But you get guys that, I mean, it's 6 months or whatever.
I mean,
How
like
do
you're going to
how
go
do you
work for 6
expect
months in
this?
Dubai or
I feel
something.
like six. That's
I do
What do
I
you
wouldn't
do
know how
then?
to do for 6 months. But I remember like I think it was like a month after we got married and we went to Cape Town, me and my family, and I had to stay for work for like 2 weeks. I feel like pictures, 16, I feel like those are the best ways to do
But
it.
if
And
I send,
constantly
but
communicate.
if I send my bums in a nice G-string, how do you not expect him to get hard?
He's
And
gonna-
what must they do?
What must he do with that picture?
Well, I didn't ask him what he did with that.
Because that's where the masturbation comes into play.
Yeah.
But for me personally,
So I
I
wanna
expect you
know-
to abstain. That's that's my personal opinion. I expect you to abstain because I'm going to abstain. And the way we do things in our marriage, there's no funny things in our marriage in terms of masturbation and all of that, because the implication that has had on our marriage was detrimental. So I'm not going to advocate for something that I know it doesn't
doesn't
it has
work.
an adverse effect on the marriage. So stay away. If you know you're going to get hard on a picture, don't look at it. Tell your wife I love you.
Really?
In class.
6
Yes.
months, ek ken nie
Okay,
van
ja.
daai nie. But
Yeah, 6
when,
months is
when
tough.
our counselor comes in, not next week, the week after, and we do the Q&A, I am definitely asking that question
Please
because
get the
we didn't get
answer.
a lack of answer there.
Because we don't have the answer.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know we
that's
don't
a
have
tough
an
one.
answer.
I mean, there's not
Okay.
I don't think there's a
Not
custom
an answer, but it's just opinion.
Yeah, there's just an opinion on it because nothing in the Bible says something about it. You get in terms of that, but in terms of if you look medically, and we've discussed this extensively in terms of masturbation and the adverse effects of it, and me having experienced what it does in the marriage. It's a no
But then
for
I
me.
think, again, it differs from person to person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because maybe it had a bad effect on you, and then maybe another couple, for them, yes, exactly.
So,
I
but
wouldn't say...
For me, I say it's the
it's-
the months and the weeks and that. That's what's not adding up to me. Because if I do have a work opportunity to bring in money, or there's lots of couples that the one partner moves and goes and gets the job and the place and that, and the family waits for the first 6 months and then goes over while they're waiting for their paperwork and things. So that's where I just want the clarity.
You see,
Okay.
and people take different decisions and stuff like that. Like for me personally, ek gaan saam, day one. Me, ek is saam met jou op my plane. You're not leaving no one behind. I'm
Now
that
you're
person.
taking me with everywhere.
But then, Anka, you said not to go into your personal
Yeah.
space like that, but I just want to know because we're talking about marriage, right?
Yeah.
Just in general,
Yeah.
if you no, I'm not saying you clingy, but if you're so
I'm
clingy to
clingy.
your husband, versmoor jy hom nie.
No,
Like,
he's fine. He's alright.
but like, because then I'd be like,
No, we talk a lot about it. So in the beginning, there was a time when you'll say, hey, "Don't you have a hobby? Mara, don't you want to get friends? Don't you have something to do with your own life?" Because remember, when I came here, I had nobody. I literally just had him to cling on. What it's done now? Yes, there is that times when he needs to go work or whatever, but it's our agreement. We do everything. I'm upset if I have to go pick up the kids alone. I'm upset. Why am I driving alone? I'm that type of person. If I go to the mall, I'm never alone. So we have that friendship going. So when my husband, my companion isn't there, it's like, now, what now? Vange takes that place a lot of the times. I mean, Vange knows. Like,
I don't understand because I do everything because my husband works that hours.
Yeah.
He does 7
Okay.
days a week. So he even works on a Sunday, and if he's not working, there's the soccer team and all those kind of things. So for me, I feel like sometimes you must also, I'm not speaking against you, I'm just speaking in general. When a partner is clingy, because there's also guys that's clingy and
but
don't give women
a
a
breathing
chance
chance.
or whatnot. Sometimes a partner also just gives in because I feel like she's going to not want me to go anyway, or
That's
those
toxic,
kind
though.
of things.
And
And
in
What's
that
toxic
sense,
about it?
like if your partner gives in like that to say, she's not going to want to let me go, so let me must stay in, or let me not explore, or let me not go out with the girls, or let me not go to the bar, that is toxic because that comes across as possessive. So I'm clingy, but I'm not possessive. If he needs to go somewhere, he goes. If I need to go somewhere, I go. End of
Alone?
story. Yeah. I'll call Vange and say, Vange, please drive because I hate driving too.
I personally think, not towards you, Anka, just in general, I feel that women shouldn't be clingy because you need to also have your own life.
Yes.
Right? And give this
And that's
person.
very
Let's
important.
not call it a break. It's not a break, but you need to have, because it's
that's
Yeah,
all
your
time.
life is
two
not a break.
people
It's
coming together.
you
but
must still have
still
your own
a life.
identity.
Because
For
now,
some-
God forbid, he dies. What you
In
gonna
Jesus'
do?
name, it's not
Don't-
there.
No. I
Can't
said,
stand.
I said God forbid, but I'm saying if that is taken away, who is Anka? Is Anka
So,
gonna do
but
things alone? Are you
yes-
gonna be okay?
Yes, I'll
You
be
know?
okay. So here's the thing, and this is what I say. I'm clingy, but I'm not possessive. So there's a big difference between the two. Like
What's the difference?
I want to do things with my husband, but I'm able to do it without him. But it's a want.
Want, yeah.
It's not a must.
Yeah.
So there are times when he
So
must
you
do
want
something.
a lot. You want a lot.
Yeah.
You were about to say something.
Yeah, no,
What
I
were you
wanted to
gonna
say I'm exactly like Anka. Probably like 1,000 times worse. I will sit, like literally if he's gone to buy food, I'm like calculating. I'm like, okay, it's going to be 20 minutes. Let it be 21 minutes. And I'm like, oh my word, what happened? Where's he? I want to do everything with my husband. Like, I'm at the stage where my life kind of revolves
But
around
can I
him.
jump in there? Based on me having the same experience, you coming up from the workplace, I fully understand that in terms of when your partner is not at work, we see that as it's family time.
Yeah.
And because most of, let's say you're 24 hours, 10 hours of that day is towards
Yeah.
work. The last few hours before sleeping, you do want that time
Yeah,
with
that
your
time to
partner.
spend, to
And
be
that's
with him.
something for me, that's something different when we just trying to make up for the lost time in terms of we need to do things together to also keep the communication and the relationship one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the minute you're going to start then having your own life in your free time out of work, then we become roommates.
And
Then you go into the
yeah.
friend zone in marriage. And that's also a tight spot that you're not supposed to be in. You're not supposed to just be roommates. We live together.
Yeah.
In the night, okay, 10 minutes over and done with. Daar gaan slaap jy weer and you move on with your life. And that's also one thing we need to also remember, both woman and man, that if there is heavy work schedules, you must consider time with your partner.
Yeah.
In terms of, we do that a lot. If Ashley works from Monday to Saturday and is off on Sunday, best believe Sunday I'm not going to church. Sunday we at the zoo from 9 o'clock until, as much as I'm a Christian girl and I believe God and all of those things, I also know that the equally yoked part, Jesus please, but there is still a point of the family still needs some sort of communication, things to do, things to speak about. Remember, if you're just coming home and all we do is speak about work, the conversation is going nowhere. Interests start going here through. Now you're chatting on social media to somebody that's paying attention to you, and all those kind of things kind of ripple
Effects,
behind it.
And you find yourself in a space like, how did we get here when, when things go awry and it's like, I'm leaving. What do you mean you're leaving? We were then just living life. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and we were also in danger in the beginning because we were trying to find ourselves and how we are, like where we're going, each other's personalities and all of that kind of stuff. But for me, being that clingy, and we work together. So we're always together. We drive together. We drop the kids together. But every Monday, and sometimes on a Monday, sometimes on a Thursday, whatever, I will stay home and I'll do whatever needs to be done at home. And that's and because I'm technically melancholy by nature, so I need to be alone to recuperate.
Okay.
So there's balance in everything in life. As long as it doesn't become toxic. Now I keep you away from your family. Now it's like, but I don't want to go. Okay, she won't want me to go, so let me must stay home. Those situations like that is toxic.
Talking about family, laat ons 'n bietjie praat van die mother-in-laws, né?
Our time is almost up. But you can go quickly. Our time is way up, but you can go quickly.
Hi. No, okay. Guys, please advise those mother-in-laws. It's any means it's a marriages. Like,
Why are they in the first
no,
place?
I love
They
a
must
guy.
be-
I love a guy that loves his mother. But can we now cleave to the wife? Because then his love, it just denotes that he can love. So can that love now maybe be transferred to me? But the mother-in-law should know her boundaries. But where does the husband now come in to say, you know what, mommy, this is where I draw the
For
line?
me,
Like,
I
how's
don't
that
personally
relationship?
think that it's Me and Anka always speak about this in-law thing. An in-law thing does not marginalize you to a certain stereotype. What happens is its personality.
Yeah.
So if my mother does something and my in-law does the same thing, we don't say, my mother. But if your in-law does the exact same thing, it's, the in-laws
Laws, yeah.
kind of a thing. And I think that's something that needs to be shifted, because we're so in-law. We are molded to think that an in-law is toxic. We are molded to think there is people that is toxic, but it's not because they are in-law. It's
That's
their
just how they are.
personality.
That's who they are.
And I feel like that is a big thing in terms of, don't stereotype beforehand, because if you have a bad experience with your in-laws, now before I get married, all you speak on my life is, you better
that's
pray
the
your
truth.
in-law this, you better pray your in-law that, and you walk into the relationship with the
Already with
mindset
that,
already
yeah.
made up.
But you know what happens? You know what happens? I've been in a group of, like marriage. Yeah, when I was married young woman
Yeah.
as well, whatever. But then you've got your in-laws is good to you. But now because everybody else is talking about, hey, my mother-in-law does my. No, fully okay. You know it's say. You will know it's
You-
say.
you start
you
looking
in-
for a fault with
exactly.
your in-laws,
Then,
yeah.
that's how the cycle also happens. That's what many times happens as well.
For me personally, I can't really relate, because we have a different culture, and it's been like that for me since, I called dad before I got married. So I was genuinely, and it sounds cliche, it sounds corny, but really I was genuinely accepted. And the culture we have is, even with me and Vange, it's not my sister-in-law, it's my sister. That's how we introduce, and there was genuinely
And
a
people
confusion.
literally say, but aren't you the only
Yeah,
girl?
like people don't. So you married your brother. Like people don't understand. Like there's a confusion, and the relationship that I have with my mother, Ma, which is Vange's ma. So you see the dynamic how we speak now. Remember, I'm not a child that grew up in that house, so I'm not a child that she raised. Will we have issues? Yes, we will have issues. But it's the two of us that must sort
The
it out.
same way you
and we
will
grow.
also have issues
Yes.
with your own mother.
Yeah.
But the way you communicate with your mother is a bit different. And because your
And you
mother
grow.
brought you up, she understands your way of thinking. So with the in-law, it's also the exact same like a marriage. Communication.
Yeah.
You don't phone your sister and then say, oh, your mother this, your mother that. You don't phone your husband and say, your mother this, your mother that. You call in your
So-
mother-in-law and you literally sit down with a cup of coffee the way you would with friends.
There's certain situations, depending on what it is, when Xavier he knows how his parents communicate. So he will then address it. The same with my parents. I speak my parents' language, I will address it.
Yeah.
But there's certain other things that I know that I went to go sit and have a cup of coffee with Ma, and we go on. Just stop with the
That's
petty
also
things.
with
Again,
personality.
communication.
Your
Go on.
personality versus that personality versus your partner's personality. It's all about who can be mature in the situation. But there is toxic mothers that do try and come in, and that is where a husband, you need to say, you chose
Yeah.
me. You chose me as much as it's your mother. This is now your new family. But then that mustn't be something petty.
Yeah.
It must be something massive that's gone hectically. So Anka's gonna do the thing is, I know we didn't do anything, but there was so much to speak about and everything, and many people was just agreeing. Furious TV, I know you asked a lot of things about love and stuff. Our previous episode, we spoke a lot about that. The contraceptive ones, we have an episode where we speak about that as well. So sometimes there is things that people do put in the comments, but the reason why we don't really touch on it is because we have touched on it
In previous
previously.
conversations.
So please don't feel like we're not reading, but Anka will just say thank you to whoever
To everyone.
commented,
So I'll just say, listen, Al Pacino store
and
says,
sorry, and Heidi did comment about the fasting one, but we will go into that next week.
okay. Listen to understand, not just to respond. That was obviously for our earlier conversation. Oh no, shaving is so important, not just for him, but for personal hygiene.
Yeah.
And then Simone Lazarus says, what about household roles and responsibilities? I don't enjoy cooking, but would prefer to clean. However, one can clean so much. Yeah, that we did cover before. And then How old are you? That's on the top. Sorry, guys. Anyone can learn to clean and how to cook. Very true, Vanch. Self care. Lorraine, you really can't see sister girl down there. You need that she's still okay. That she's still okay. Waar as ek nou? Yeah. Foreplay starts the moment you wake up in the morning. That's true. I'm not shaving my beard, that's Furious TV. And then also sometimes the contraceptions you are on takes away the lust. It's the foreplay for me. Yeah. And then, yeah, true contraception plays a part. Also being emotional beings, feelings get in the way. And then I don't understand Furious TV's ones. I don't know, Vange, if you want to. This
You
is
just mentioned a few things. It's fine. We don't have
Yeah.
to go through that
At
now.
the-
We'll do it next time.
at the bridal shower, someone must stand up and say, "Girl, you better prepare yourself for the first night, because sure, the pain during is painful." And then, yeah, I think that's it. During fast, the two must agree not to, but you can still have sex if one does not agree.
I also heard that it must be communion,
It
but
has
we're gonna find out
Yeah.
about that. So if one is fasting and the other one isn't, you don't have the right to. But we'll go into that when we find out,
Yeah.
when we have more things. But what I did want to say, I follow this mothers, they're best friends, right? And they did this one TikTok, and it was frick funny, man, because I could relate so much. And they like, as a woman, you see, you take the kids to school and whatnot. By 10 o'clock, I'm horny. But you send your husband a pic. Hey, babe, this, that, I love you so much. Ready for you. What. Husband comes from work. He's like, I've already washed the kids. I already cooked. I already this, that. I'm not in the mood anymore. And I feel that is so
True.
common with women, because our times of arousement is very different.
Different from a
because
man's.
it comes with emotion and not with the we ready, set, go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to bring that up because in my mind I was thinking about their dance on TikTok when that words come up. But thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited that you guys always stick around. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you. Thank you for
Crystal,
having us.
for joining us.
Thank you for
Lorraine,
having
I must
me.
say
Guys,
thank you. You
awesome.
already furniture now.
Ek het nie baie gesê vandag.
We are so grateful for you joining in.
Thank you.
Please catch us on part 3 next week when we do divorce, pro-divorce, for divorce, anti-divorce, all those kind of things. What leads to divorce? Can you stop divorce? All those kind of stuff. And as a married woman, what do you think about divorce? As a single, are you scared of getting married because you don't even want to think about the divorce? Your mind is already jumping to divorce before the marriage. So thank you so much for joining us today. We are so grateful for all the comments. Sorry we didn't, like I said, jump into comments every single time, but we are a lot and a lot was said. So thank you so much for joining us, and we can't wait to see you guys next week. See you then. Bye.
Bye.